Rukia Kuchiki. Rukia Kuchiki, Kuchiki Rukia, is the current captain of the 13th Division. She formerly served as lieutenant of the 13th Division under Captain Joshiro Yukitake. Rukia is the adoptive sister of Byakuya Kuchiki, a friend of Ichigo Kurosaki, and is married to Rinji Abarai. Approximately 150 years ago, Rukia and her older sister, Hizana, were brought together to Inazuri, the 78th district of Rukongai, after they died in the human world. Unable to live there while caring for a child, Hizana abandoned Rukia when she was still a baby. Rukia grew up on her own for a considerable amount of time. One day, Rukia tripped an adult who was chasing Rinji Abarai's group of friends, and urged them to follow her to avoid losing the water they had stolen. Rukia joined their group, becoming their spiritual leader, and they lived together as a family. They all hated Inazuri and the people there. Rukia exhibited some spiritual power during this time. 10 years after Rukia joined the group, with all of their friends dead, Rukia proposed they become Shinigami and live in Siriidii, noting she had heard it was pretty there. Renji agreed with her. As they were gifted with spiritual powers, they entered the Shino Academy with ease, where they struggled to stand out from those from the noble families. The night before the welcoming ceremony for the new students of the academy, against Rukia's advice, Renji slept in a tree. The following morning, he fell out of the tree and landed on a headstone where a startled Izuru Kira had been praying, for which Rukia scolded him. 2 months after entering the academy, Renji, scolding Rukia for still not fitting in, informed her he was going to the human world for field training to practice Kanso for the first time. Rukia complained about this being unfair, but Renji retorted that it is about talent, and that he will get stronger. Rukia said she will show him she is the stronger one, but trailed off. One day, Byakuya Kuchiki informed Rukia that the Kuchiki clan was interested in adopting her and having her graduate immediately to be assigned to the 13th Division. In the middle of this meeting, Renji burst into the room to tell her he had passed an important exam. Disappointed with the interruption, the nobles left, and Rukia told Renji of their offer, which he congratulated her on. Rukia thanked him and left. Rukia was told Byakuya adopted her into the Kuchiki clan due to her similarity to Hizana, whom he had married. Rukia was admitted to the 13th Division without taking their entrance exam. On her first day in the division, she is shown into a room by a fellow Shinigami, whom she told to treat her like any other new recruit. After he left, she heard him and others talking about her and the favoritism shown to nobles. Rukia was disappointed it was like that there as well. Lieutenant Kaion Shiba entered the room, introduced himself, and scolded her for her weak reply. Rukia was deeply happy she could have a normal relationship with her superior, rather than being treated as special. That evening, Rukia reported to Byakuya her first day had ended peacefully and she did not attain a seated officer position, but Byakuya asked her to leave. Later, Rukia, becoming Kaion Kotetsu's assistant, went on a mission to the human world. During her time in the 13th Division, she became friends with Kaion. One day, seeing she was gloomy, Kaion told her as long as she was in his division, he would stand by her, even if he died. They were interrupted by the drunk Kaion and Sentaro Katsubaki, who tried to encourage her. Kaion mentored Rukia, teaching her how to fight. Their first training location was Mount Koifushi of Hakuten, the 3rd district of West Rukongai, where Kaion taught her about the concept of the heart. He was present when she learned her Shirkai's first 2 dances. Rukia greatly admired Kaion's wife, 3rd seat Miyako Shiba, wanting to be like her someday. When Miyako was killed by a hollow, Rukia, Kaion, and Yukitake went to its lair. She offered to go first in order to scout out its abilities, but Kaion asked to face the hollow alone. When its special ability destroyed Kaion's Zanpakuto, Rukia attempted to help, but was stopped by Yukitake. He told her Kaion's fight was one of honor rather than a fight for his life. If she were to help, Kaion's life would be saved, but his honor would be forever damaged. After protesting about this, Rukia reluctantly obeyed his order. However, the hollow, entering Kaion's body, possessed him. The hollow attempted to attack Rukia, but Yukitake, blocking it, sent Rukia away as he fought it. Afraid to fight it, she obeyed, but she came back because she wished to help Kaion and was afraid to face her cowardice in future. As it leaped at her, she noted it was no longer Kaion. Unable to bear seeing him like that, she stabbed Kaion. He thanked Rukia and apologized for dragging her into it. Kaion died in Rukia's arms. Rukia brought the corpse to the Shiba family estate, but was afraid to apologize out of guilt from her role in Kaion's death. 40 years after her adoption into the Kuchiki clan, Kaion and Sentaro informed Rukia she had been assigned to the human world. Rukia thought this was a transfer order, which Kaioshin denied, reminding her of her previous mission to the human world, which Rukia still failed to remember. Yukitake told her she was being assigned to Karakura town for 1 month, which should be easy for her. Rukia thanked him for telling her. Yukitake asked if she had told Byakuya about it, but she stated he would not wish to be bothered with such a minor thing. Yukitake offered to tell him for her, for which Rukia thanked him. Appearance: short and petite, Rukia has light skin and purple eyes. Her hair is black, with several strands of hair always hanging between her eyes. Byakuya has stated she strongly resembles her sister, Hisana Kuchiki. As a Shinigami of the Godai 13, Rukia wears a standard shihakusho. 17 months after Aizen's defeat, Rukia wears her hair cropped into a bob which hangs about her face. She wears a fingerless white teko, similar to Byakuya's, which extend above her elbows. As a lieutenant, she wears her division badge around her uniform's left sleeve, which has been shortened to just reach her upper arm. 10 years after Yhwach's defeat, Rukia's hair is in a style similar to the time before Aizen's defeat, but much longer. She also now wears a typical Captain Haori over her usual Shinigami Shihakusho. 12 years after Yhwach's defeat, Rukia wears her long hair in a sideways ponytail. Personality: initially born into a lower class, Rukia retains her modesty, even as an adopted member of the nobility. She is graceful and clean, yet chooses to talk to ordinary people. However, her cool and lone demeanor often forces her to hide her personal troubles, even from her friends. According to Yukitake, Rukia never opens up her heart, and has difficulty making friends. Rukia is clueless about the ways of the modern human world. She is very good at acting, having acted her way through a number of tough situations, such as getting out of trouble with school teachers and convincing the Kurosaki family to let her stay at their house. Rukia always has trouble finding clothes that fit her, especially when inhabiting a jigai in the human world, leading to her stealing clothes from Ichigo's sister, Yuzu. She likes to climb to high places. Rukia likes everything rabbit-themed, and becomes quite sensitive when someone insults her obsession with them. People often have difficulty understanding her drawings, which are typically rabbit-like, and doesn't like it when people complain about their quality. Rukia's favorite foods are cucumber, eggs, and rice dumplings. Equipment: oaken clothing. After training with the Royal Guard, Rukia dons special clothing in order to safely return to the Siriidii. These clothes are made from the bones and hair of the members of the Royal Guard, and they possess incredible defensive power, allowing Rukia to withstand the friction that results from breaking through the 72 barriers between Soul Society and the Soul King Palace without suffering any damage. Yhwach notes that no Shinigami could hope to wear greater garb. These clothes take the form of a long white shawl wrapped around her head and hang past her shoulders, fluffy white earmuffs, a white visor covering her eyes, and a long white cloak worn over her shihakusho. They are destroyed and Rukia activates her Bankai and temporarily gains new clothing. Powers and abilities. Kido expert. Rukia's greatest strength is her knowledge of Kido. Among her known skills are those for binding, healing, and destruction. However, as she herself stated, while her Kido skill at the Shino Academy was the highest of her class, the sheer power of her Kido was just average when she joined the 13th Division. Through continuous training, she has greatly developed this skill, able to use Heido number 73 without incantation to considerable effect. She switched from Zanjutsu to Kido without delay upon losing her Zanpakuto. She can use high-level Kido in rapid succession without incantations and still retain considerable control and power. She has great skill in using various spells in unique combination, even using multiple spells at the same time. However, she requires incantations when using high-level spells simultaneously. Expert swordsman. Rukia initially only knew the basic levels of Zanjutsu, of which she seemed to have only mastered the rudimentary skills. By her own admission, she has less talent in swordsmanship than Kido. However, after much training by her former mentor, Kaioshin Shiba, her skill drastically improved. She can hold her own in a battle, most notably defending herself from attacks from the 9th Espada, who possessed the expert swordsmanship skill of Kaioshin Shiba. Rukia has also demonstrated enough skill in swordsmanship to cut down multiple of Rudborn Kalut's attacking Calaveras. Shuinpa expert. Renji says Rukia is helpful and effective because of her high speed. During her battle against the Ajuchas of the Minos Forest, she skillfully dodged multiple attacks from several enemies. She is able to move fast enough to surprise and cut as not. Hakuta combatant. While in a jigai, she fought enemies with her hands and feet, kicking, punching, etc. She is capable of hand-to-hand combat while in her Shinigami state, possessing augmented strength. During the Bount invasion, she countered the swift and accurate attacks of Yoshi. Great spiritual power. Being a captain of the Gotei 13, Rukia boasts a great level of spiritual energy and can exert large amounts of Ryatsu when needed. Her Ryatsu is white. Keen intellect. Rukia has repeatedly demonstrated her keen intellect. She compensated against the power of the 9th Espada with combination attacks. During her forced stay in the human world after losing her powers, Rukia proved herself very useful in assisting Ichigo with his new Shinigami duties. Rukia is very knowledgeable, with a detailed knowledge of Soul Society's history. Enhanced strength. Despite her size, she is powerful enough to defeat a superior opponent. Even without the aid of her Zanpakuto, she is still a considerable opponent. Despite her size, she can lift and throw a human. Enhanced endurance. Rukia is notably resilient. She withstood being impaled by Erinyero's Nejibana in conjunction with his Glotoneria, and finished him off before losing consciousness. Zanpakuto. Sodi no Shirayuki redirects here. For the manifested spirit who appears in the anime-only Zanpakuto Unknown Tales and Beast Swords arcs, see Sodi no Shirayuki, Zanpakuto Spirit. Sodi no Shirayuki, sleeved white snow, viz. Sleeves of white snow, in its sealed form, Sodi no Shirayuki is a normal katana. It has a rectangular tsuba with a vaguely flame-like pattern on the long sides and a curved line on the short sides, inward curved corners with curved slits above and below the blade, and a series of curved lines embossed on either side of the blade. It has a reddish-brown hilt. Shirkai. Its Shirkai command is Dance, Mei. Rukia holds her Zanpakuto out in front of her and turns it in a circle counterclockwise. While she is turning it, the blade, hilt, and tsuba turn completely white. The tsuba becomes a hollow snowflake-like circle, and a white ribbon forms from the pommel. Sodi no Shirayuki is regarded as one of the most beautiful Zanpakuto in Soul Society. The transformation is accompanied by a rush of cold air in all directions. Shirkai special ability. Sodi no Shirayuki is an ice-type Zanpakuto. Sodi no Shirayuki possesses multiple techniques, labeled as dances by Rukia. Besides ice techniques, Sodi no Shirayuki's general ability is freezing. Sodi no Shirayuki can freeze a target from a distance, or used in a different manner, create a path or platform of ice in midair. Rukia can freeze even the Reishi-created spirit weapon of a Quincy, causing it to shatter. In reality, Sodi no Shirayuki does not spread coldness from its blade. Its actual ability is to bring the body temperature of its wielder to a temperature below freezing. As a result, anything its wielder touches freezes, the sword itself merely increasing their reach. Due to this power, Rukia is capable of momentarily killing her body by controlling her own Reisha, putting herself in a form of cryostasis. She completely stops all the molecules in her body, preventing any material or substance attempting to affect her from doing so because it cannot enter her body. However, if someone uses an optical attack on her, it will affect her because her nerves are still working. Rukia can lower her body temperature to a point at which the ground below her feet freezes instantly, causing ice quakes, and can even reduce her temperature to absolute zero, though she can only safely maintain this temperature for no more than 4 seconds. Some no Mai, Tsukishiro, first dance. Moon White Rukia calls out the name of the dance while holding her Zanpakuto upside down. The blade glows, and she makes a slashing motion when her target is in position. When she does this, she draws a circle with the tip of Sodi no Shirayuki. The space within that circle and anything inside freezes. The circle not only freezes the ground, but everything within the circle's influence, including anything above it in the air, creating an extending pillar of light which freezes all within the circle. Shortly after being frozen, the victim shatters along with the ice. The ice pillar will not shatter if the victim is not caught within it. Tsugi no Mai, Hakuren, next dance. White Ripple Rukia, calling out the name of the dance, punctures the ground once, creating a large ice circle, similar to the first dance. She punctures the ground in front of her 4 times in a semicircle. As ice particles begin to flow up from the punctures she made in the ground, she takes a battle stance. The particles, building up at the tip of Sodi no Shirayuki, are released as a large, powerful avalanche of cold air. It flash freezes whatever it comes into contact with, encasing it in ice. San no Mai, Shirafune, third dance. White Sword Rukia calls out the name of the dance, which allows her to gather moisture in the air to the tip of Sodi no Shirayuki, creating a blade of ice. This makes it possible to augment the length of the blade. After piercing its target, it continues to freeze any surrounding objects and the immediate area. Juhaku, tree white Rukia stabs the ground, which creates a trail of ice in the direction of her intended target. The ice freezes the target from the base up, in a continuing freezing process, as it transforms the target into ice. Ice rope connection. If Rukia can't reach her sword, she can create an ice extension to connect her hand to the sword hilt, which allows her to use Sodi no Shiryuki's Shirkai abilities at a distance. Bankai, Haka no Togame, Censure of the White Haze, viz., White Haze punishment. Rukia's Bankai changes both her physical look and the clothing she is wearing dramatically. Rukia wears a white, ankle-length kimono with lined patterns. The robe has an attached ornate collar, edges, and shoulder design with long, wide sleeves. There are long, flowing ribbons tied at her back that form numerous large loops. She has a small ice flower formation at the center of her chest, and a half crown of ice which extends around the back of her head. Rukia's hair becomes white, and her blade becomes transparent ice. Bankai special ability, Haka no Togame increases the area of influence of Rukia's ability to reach the temperature of absolute zero. Upon release, a pillar of cold mist rises up into the air from where Rukia is and covers a wide area in her vicinity. Anything within the area of influence of the mist is frozen. Once frozen solid, victims crumble away within seconds. Physical contact with Rukia herself causes other people to begin freezing solid due to how cold her body is. Weaknesses. Zanpakuto. Temperature stability, Shirkai, Bankai. When raising the temperature from absolute zero, Rukia has to do so slowly or risk harming her own body. Mastery difficulty, Bankai. While Rukia possesses a powerful Bankai, it is also a difficult one, as the slightest mistake could kill Rukia. Time limit, Bankai. Because Rukia is physically affected along with everything else in her vicinity, the amount of time she can use her Bankai appears severely limited, as prolonged use can potentially cause her damage, so she must thaw slowly when leaving this state, otherwise she would risk damaging herself.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.